Alafia family. It is yours truly, Ifaremi Olosun. I just have a quick message as I get up from venerating my mother, Oshun, the great mother of all Oshun in my shrine. This message is for anyone who feel tied to a relationship, more than likely, oftentimes for the wrong reasons. I myself have been married and divorced 3 times. And I say that with a smile. And I say that without any shame. Because what I've come to know is when we judge our own personal experiences based on other people's experiences, that is when we find ourselves in a place of regret and guilt and shame and embarrassment. And all of those emotions keep us bound in those unhealthy relationships. Everyone's destiny is unique. Everyone's destiny is different. What if I told you that Ifa revealed to me a long time ago that I would have many husbands? And that was a part of my destiny. What if I told you that our whole perception of what relationships come into our life for and what they are for has been misconstrued? What if I told you we have been fooled and bamboozled about the true meaning of relationships? What if relationships were how we learned more about ourselves and uncovered more about ourselves? And what if relationships come into our life to teach us a lesson, to help us to evolve, to help us to heal? But what we've been taught about relationships is this fairy tale image, happily ever after for the rest of our lives, la 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 la. Is that really true? Who told us that it's supposed to be that way? Now, in some cases, it is one's destiny to be with someone forever and ever, happily ever after. But that is not in the cards for everyone. Even Orisha Oshun herself had many husbands. Now, I am not praising or normalizing divorce or separation, but what I am supporting is one's destiny. What I am promoting and supporting is one's mental health. What I am supporting is one's peace of mind. And what I promote and support is alignment, for one to be in alignment with their destiny, no matter what that looks like. Different strokes for different folks. So don't stay stuck in relationships because of the wrong reasons. I'm all about, if anyone knows me, I'm about a liberation. My purpose and my Oshun expresses itself as a mother through liberating my children, my godchildren, for the lack of a better word, those who follow me or those who see me as a guide. I'm going to liberate you. Liberate you from the perceived constraints and palisade, I believe it's palisade or palisade fences, cages, bars that exist in our mind as an illusion. I'm going to break those illusions down for you and free your spirit. We cannot be an expression of Olodumare if we are caged in by all of these man-made laws and rules and ideas and expectations. I'm here to liberate you, to liberate your spirit by sharing these messages with you. And in this case, about relationships. Now, when you see people, let me preach for a minute. When you see people that's been in relationships, not all, some of them are in divine order, just blessed and beautiful inspirations to us all. But that's rare. Now, and it's such a blessing for one's destiny in this life if they find the one and stay with that one. But I'm going to tell you from my personal experience and from my spiritual observation. When you see people in relationships for many years, and while we are coveting and admiring and yearning and trying to compare ourselves to those people, forcing us to try to be like them, staying in these toxic ties. Toxic ties is what I call them. We have to understand there are so many different dynamics in those relationships. And some of us are called to a higher calling than that. For some of us, our spirits, our Egbe, our Ori, will not allow such a thing to occur. But for others, because of their lack of awareness, their lack of connection, or their destiny, they can do that. Some of these relationships that we are forcing ourselves to stay in toxic ties for, that we see, they can be together for years and years and years in toxicity because they are feeding each other shadows. They could be comforting each other's shadows. They can be oftentimes justifying each other toxic traits. They could be hiding behind one another for years. You see this quite often with people who have addictions. They replace those addictions sometimes even with a person when they have those addictive behaviors. It's many ways that people cope with not doing the work. And sometimes people cope with not doing the work by covering it up with others and toxic ties. Some of those people that you watch and say, I want to be like them, or they've been together forever, let me not divorce, let me stay in this toxic tie. Some of those relationships, especially in the spiritual community, those people minds probably were not strong enough to leave. We're not strong enough to fight the juju. There's so much in Babalawos, so much Ife, Ogun Ife, so much that people will do out of desperation, especially amongst the spiritual community, to keep a person bound to them. Why? Because of that shadow. That's not love. That's not love. I don't believe in love magic, love rituals. It should be natural. But let me tell you, within the so-called woke and spiritual community, there's so many people out there doing all types of stuff to say, let this person stay with me. They're doing padlocks and strings and charms and period blood and people food and all types of stuff. So saying that to say, some of these people you see together for a long time, especially some of the women I've personally witnessed. Some of the Americans who are married to Babalawos for a long time, some, not all, I watch them and I can see it with my spiritual eye. They've had so much juju binding work done on them, that they're not strong enough to leave, that they can't even see their own way anymore. So don't compare yourself to others and stay in toxic ties because of the fear of judgment. The next thing is, some of those people that you see together for many years are, how can I say, in it for the wrong reasons. It's their ultimate, some of them have aligned toxic goals that keep them bound to each other. For no reason. If a situation is not serving your highest, greatest good, if you have outgrown the experience, If you find yourself losing yourself and your purpose in the relationship, if you find it feels heavy, if you find it feels confusing, if you find yourself convincing yourself as to reasons why you should stay, if you find other people, usually on the other person's side, coming in to say, stay, 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 don't leave, don't leave. If it's pressure, true love allows you to be everything that you are freely. It doesn't cause you to settle. It doesn't cause you to compromise. It doesn't cause you to change. It allows you to flourish in your greatness. True love from your mate is more like that mate supporting you and witnessing you be you and your greatness. If it's anything other than that, feel no shame. Feel no shame about choosing you. Choose you every time, baby. Every time. Don't compare yourself to others. Even I know how you feel. I know how you feel. People are quick to judge, but remember, people judge based on their own worldview and perception of how life is and how life should be. But that's theirs. You're not meant to live through someone else's lens. You're here to experience life for you and for yourself. Liberation and freedom is not giving a fuck what anyone has to say about you. Experiencing this life, as I said, for you. This is what you came here for. Don't reduce it. Don't minimize your experience because of anything outside of yourself, a relationship, an opinion, or view. A view, someone else's view ain't got nothing to do with you. This is what I've come to know. Some people say, Ia, I'm very transparent because I'm free, baby. I have nothing to hide. I don't care. Care about who got to say about me. Why? Could you walk a mile in my shoes? Some people say, Ia, how in the world did you get married 3 times? And all of them were a necessary part of my journey. And if I could do it again, I chose it. And I did it. And I have no regrets. I have no regrets, even though they were challenging, trying, sometimes filled with happiness, sometimes filled with disappointment, sometimes filled with joy, sometimes filled with sadness. But I'm so thankful for all of them because they were purposeful. They all came to teach me much needed lessons. We are always each other reflections. And remember, our experiences are about us. They're never about the other person. It's us from inward outward. It's our experience as it relates to other people. This is our reality. I always tell my clients this. This is our experience of our reality. So there's no such thing as, don't believe that the hype that you have to love someone through abuse, or love someone through suffering, or love someone like you're going to receive some type of pat on the back from the spirit world by measuring the amount of suffering that you endure for another individual. And you think at the end, oh, because I stood by his side, I endured this thing, I waited, and I suffered. And I knew for a long time this thing was out of alignment with my destiny, that I received this lesson. Sometimes people, and you see in these relationships, they received what they needed years and years and years and years and years and years ago, but they stay, even though every bone in their body says go, because of fear, because they feel like without that individual, they can't do it because they got something to prove to other people. Because they've invested so much. So many reasons that we create to stay inside of a illusion or place that's no longer conducive to us. Ask me how I know. My first marriage, all three of them, I had to learn a lesson. It was a karmic. The first one, I was very young, about 20 years old, and we were just babies. We were just having fun, didn't even know what we were doing. And then the second marriage, but he too shined some light on some things about myself that even it wasn't until years later that I looked back on that marriage and I said, thank you. Thank Olodumare. Because I see what that person came to bring me. And then the second one, hey, yeah, in my Nigerian voice. The second marriage was totally karmic. I always tell people it was a culmination of all of my shadow selves coming to face me in the eye the way I'm facing in this camera right now. And this is a spur of the moment video. I'm actually in my shrine. And I just said, let me speak on this thing and share this message and this lesson with other people that I learned. We got to get out of this idea of being perfect. And if we fear being judged so much, how can we share and grow and vibe and share each other experiences? We're so afraid of being judged. Guess what? I don't care. Okay? I'm here on a mission. So the second one was all of our relationships are about us and lessons we need to learn. But when we make it about another person and deflect, we do ourselves a disservice. And we find that karmic relationship, that spirit, that energy that came through to deliver a message to you, it goes right on to the next person that you meet. So my second marriage was karmic. It was to present major lessons to me, to show many of my shadow selves. And guess what? I didn't get the lesson. I didn't learn the lesson in that second marriage. I shared this with my client earlier. I thought that the lesson was to, how strong am I? I came out of that situation. Look at me. Look at me. I did that. But the lesson wasn't about coming out of it. It was growing and getting the lessons from it. So, and guess what? That spirit, that energy, that entity, that karma came right on the back around again through another person, honey, in the third marriage. And each time, all three marriages, I married potential. I didn't marry what my purpose needed. I didn't marry what complemented me as a woman. I didn't marry what my mission needed. I didn't marry what would be the best complement and reflection of my greatness and a mate. I married potential and hope. The next point I want to say, then I'm going to get up out of here, bringing me to this point. Many women who are leaders, a lot of Olosun, and a lot of women who went through similar things that I went through, any trauma, being the oldest, having that martyr, hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, that martyr mindset of let me be the sacrificial lamb. It's normal to be the sacrificial lamb. Oh, even though I need, want, and desire this, let me do it for a greater purpose, a greater good. Let me sacrifice a little bit to help this person because this person needs help a little more than me. That's not love. If you are staying in a relationship as the martyr or the sacrificial lamb, free yourself. Love is not constantly enduring, constantly have to put yourself in any way, shape, or form on a back burner. Love is I am who I am. I have what I have. I am complete. I am total. I am whole. And I am intact. As I am with you, I still am that I am. So don't find your stay in relationships because of the martyr mentality. I know as mothers, it's our natural instinct to help. It's our natural instincts to feel obligated to, okay, let me mother you. But and being being Iya Oshun, and in you, if you're Omo Oshun, if you have that motherly instinct, don't forget the greatest lesson that Oreye Oshun has taught me is, as a mother, you first master being a mother by mothering yourself. You have to be a mother in every aspect of your life, including in dealing with yourself. That's why Oshun always adorned herself and worshipped herself with her brass. Oshun Oyeye Nimo. Oshun Oyeye Nimo has so much brass everywhere. She adorned herself in the finest clothing. She always looked beautiful. She was a designer. She was an artist, always created and given birth. But first and foremost, she showed up in her glory. So Oshun teaches us as women, mother yourself, nurture yourself, love yourself, adore yourself first. Even though she had so many children everywhere, Olomo Yo-Yo, she still adorned and glorified herself, and when she walked the earth in a physical form. I never heard any Oriki that talks about Oshun looking raggedy, or Oshun being broke down, or Oshun just waiting in sadness and fear, or just suffering and enduring for another human being. Ha! I've never heard it. So, in fulfilling my purpose as being Iya Oshun and a mother to all, let me speak to you always as a loving mother. Keep your head held high and let go of any toxic ties. And conversely, if you are with someone who provides for you all the things that were positive that I mentioned, embrace it. Embrace it. And bathe in the love and in the blessing of having that divine counterpart. But first and foremost, always be free. Liberate yourself and continue to rise. If you know, my logo is a phoenix. It's about rising from the ashes of all of this stuff that this world has messed up our minds about. Rise into your free, liberated version of you, your spirit, your destiny, what you uniquely came here to do, and explore. If you are afraid to fail, then that means you are afraid to achieve. You are afraid to learn. If we are kept bound by fears of judgment, fear of this, fear of letting go, what this person think, what that person think, how will you grow? How will you learn? How will you evolve spiritually? I don't want to start talking in tongue. My shrine, I can feel the energy coming through from Oshun. How can you? It's through freedom. It's through exploration. That's why Oshun is associated with childlike energy, playfulness, explore. Art, freedom. That is also our key to spiritual ascension. So, I think that's all Spirit has for me to share. Just checking in with Spirit. If there's anything else, just free yourself. Live, love, experience. Let go of toxic ties, my women. Don't be afraid of being alone. Where I discovered the most about myself is in my lonesome. Most of my spiritual journey has been alone. A lot of my family then stopped understanding me as I became more spiritual and less carnal. I became what they could not understand. Most of my journey, an elder told me early on that I would go on the pilgrim journey alone. About 13 years ago, when I went working with an elder who was a spiritual Baptist, Ianifa from IET in Trinidad, one of my spiritual guides, she said, you will walk your pilgrim journey alone. And it helped me not to stay in toxic ties. To say, because I'm tied to this family member, because I'm tied to that experience, because I'm tied to these old ways, I can't walk the path that I feel called to. Spirit set me free. And I knew early on that this would be a journey that sometimes I will walk alone. But in that silence, in those lonely moments, is when I connected most to just me. But you know what I learned in this pilgrim journey? That caused me to turn inward more. Guess who is my spiritual guide? Guess who at this point I had, as I mentioned before, now I had some, because we need help. Nothing wrong with needing help early on. But as I've ascended, who I turn to are the Orisha, my Orisha, the spirit energy. They talk to me and guide me. My higher self guides me. My ancestors guide me. My Egbe Orun guide me. So don't be afraid of being alone, either as a reason to be in a toxic tie. You can do it. You can handle. Sometimes we don't want to be alone because it forces us to face the parts of ourselves that we've been running away from for years. It keeps that illusion alive. That fosters those toxic ties. Excuse me, y'all. I'm channeling some stuff. And I'm speaking not in a judgmental way. Everybody know I'm very open. I'm speaking from my personal, recent, and past experiences. I thank Olodumare. I thank the Orisha. I thank my higher self, my ancestors. And I thank my exes. I thank y'all. One of them, I got 3 beautiful children out of. That was one of my blessings. That was one of the reasons we came together, to create 3 beautiful children. But I'm bringing that up to say, whether you have children involved, rather you look at other people and you hold them to these expectations that exist only in your mind, that will sometimes keep you bound. Children or no children. I took my babies and listened to my spirit and saw the reality of what it was, not what the person paraded to be. Killing the illusion, slaying the dragons, and choosing you, choosing right, choosing peace, choosing growth, choosing elevation, choosing ascension, choosing freedom, first and foremost. Ashe. Ashe. So I'm going to go ahead and go now. My love to all. My love to you, my honeybees. Until we exchange again. Bye-bye for now.